Everyone. Just a quick update on observations from close. So Sol BTC, it closed up over its downtrend. It closed up over its horizontal origin level, dating back to Feb. So that's a stunning place for the price to close as far as strength goes. It's not a hard close, so it can come down, bounce. By tomorrow, it could be a hard close, or it could have come back down and lost the level. So it's not a guaranteed path to the moon yet, but it's where we want to be. And if it manages to hard close this, then Sol is going to explode in strength up to this next level up here around 21848. So that's overall just really bullish. We are retracing back up on the dominance. But that was something I mentioned. I said we're not properly under it. We've come from the top side, so it's pretty easy. It could hit this, reject, give us some more downside, or it could go up to retest these levels. So that could give us that bit of weakness in the interim. Even though the Sol strength is looking so damn good, it's sort of like Sol might just be less weak than others. Bitcoin daily, it got back up inside its new trend, but as you can see, it's diving back down again. So this is what I mean by backside bounces are not sustainable bounces. It's looking for something else as support right now. And this gives you a bit of an illustration of what that might be. So somewhere down in this area, we should have a front side hold level. So this is down sort of between 109 and 107. So we are on the wrong side of the 2-day trend. So we've probably got 2 days to bounce back up and get back inside that trend. If we don't, it's actually pretty bad, like losing that trend, because then you are looking at moving to one of these exteriors, which there's plenty of things to support it, sort of in the 90s, but ultimately, if it loses this trend, it wants to go down and find something down here, which is also in the 90s. Okay, opened on the wrong side of the support trend for the 4-day. We've got a range trend coming through here, which could offer some support, but it can dive that for like 3 days and 23 hours and then pop back up in the last moment, and it still has to contend with getting back over that that trend up there to make sure that it closes back up into the support and continues to move up. And we've also got absolute dead set rejection levels sort of up around 119, so Bitcoin's still looking pretty much under pressure. And as we go further up the timeframes, they do start to look better, which is good. But the 1 week closed just under the range trend, so even that, that's most likely going to want to push down to that 1 week origin level, 108,350. It's looking pretty attractive right now, which would be a 3-week trend dive to hit that sort of level, and then it could come back up and continue to move up. If the next 3 weeks closes in accumulation too, just run a trend from that candle to whatever it is, and that will give you that potential rejection level to create the next big dump. Especially if it doesn't touch this 106,421 level, whatever that rejection trend is, would then potentially send the price all the way back to there. It's pretty nasty. Maybe a big dump or a big change of direction coming in 3 weeks. And we shifted the 11-week resistance trend, so it's now up around 127 or higher. So with this one, I mean, it could, as far as confluence goes, I just posted a thing on X about this. It could come into a retest of the trend, because sometimes when they move a trend from one location to another, they bounce back to retest the previous one and then go up, particularly if there's no other real levels in the area, which in this case there isn't. So it's possible that it comes back down and then goes back up from there. So that's a 102 target. That's actually quite probable if we really start to dump. Sol, on the other hand, great close up above a lot of these levels, these higher levels. Now, once again, they're not hard closed. Yes, we've just rejected straight off the backside of the weekly trend again. It will probably come down, but it's just in a really good place for a recovery. So once this grabs whatever liquidity it feels like grabbing, and we've got sort of levels starting at 200, 195, 191, 187, all these types of levels. And this 185, this is an origin level on the daily. Oh, actually, sorry. No, that's wrong. It's not. That broke it. So it's just a range. So that pretty much, as long as it stays above 173, is maintaining the daily ranging. So that's looking good. And 2-day, it pulled back to be under the 2-day origin resistance and under the 2-day trend, but it's still on the uptrend. So very similar really to the price action with BTC. This has probably got, say, 2 days where it could come down. It could retest 197, 195, or the older levels through here, which are all of these levels are well and truly hard close levels, so it could retest any of those. And 4-day is on the wrong side of the support trend, so same sort of levels, 191, anything down to probably this level's one of the more interesting ones, because this 4-day candle was the hard close of it, so 179.340. And I say that's one of the more interesting ones because the weekly, we have that hiding. And looks like the forward, this is just the 4-hour downtrend that we're watching. Just price can't reverse unless it reverses on the lower time frame first, so it's going to have to get over this. So until then, it's going down. But the reason I say that 179 level is quite interesting is because this is the weekly close that didn't go above the weekly trend, so it didn't open in the case of just being able to break out like a parabolic move. But this candle here on the weekly is the first hard close of everything weekly. So all the levels, the range trends, we're still within the uptrend, and they all converge around 179, 180 area. So if this trend is going to reject down into something, it's really likely it rejects down into that 179 area. That's definitely a key place to keep an eye on. So the 3-week, beautiful close up over the older resistance. Absolute shallowest retrace this might do is 197. That would be insanely bullish if it just hit the backside of that trend and then bounced. Could do it. So even though you got the weekly that might want to come down to the targets down around 179, you do have some higher time frame stuff like this that could just bounce. So do keep an eye on these levels. If it was to do a break retest, it would be 187.620. So down here to do a break level retest. If it was to come down and do a range trend retest, it would be down around 156, 157, down in the 150s. But it would have to get through all that weekly stuff to even get there, which is very unlikely. You'd see weekly bounces generally before that, unless Bitcoin really tanks, but it's not looking that bad. Now, and then the 11-week close pulled back down under its break level, so we don't just get that sudden move to 250. Unfortunately, that would have been absolutely lovely. The monthly is still looking good. 2 weeks still looking good. All this other stuff still really looking good. And our big Hopium channel, if we get back in that, where do we go? So that's looking pretty good. So that's the updates. That's what I'm watching. Best thing to do at the moment really is to chuck a 4-hour trend line on the downtrend and follow it down to those levels I've mentioned, see if we get accumulation. If the trend breaks on the 4-hour, if the trend breaks about 5 times, by the time we land on those levels, there's a really good, or even after we've landed on those levels, then there's a really good chance that they will become the reversal area. And watch that space and be ready to add to positions and move it back up. Cool. Cheers. Bye.